We have breaking New York Jets news as Aaron Rodgers appears to be gone off the New York Jets, as the Jets brain trust of Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey have decided to move on from Rodgers, and Davante Adams will likely follow with him. And this is the first big move of Darren Mougey's tenure as the New York Jets GM, and we're going to break all of it down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris here. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because maybe one day I can get a background behind my little square right here. Until then, you know the deal. Guys, if you're part of the 8%, make sure to subscribe if you want daily New York Jets news, rumors, updates like this one on free agency, trades, all that stuff, the draft. Matt's great with some mock drafts. You guys don't want to miss out. But let's jump into this, guys. Look, when Aaron Rodgers came to the Jets now nearly 2 years ago, it felt like things had changed. It felt like finally something was going right for the New York Jets. Like, Joe Douglas was a good GM, drafting good players in the draft. Things were going well for the Jets. We just had Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner and Jermaine Johnson and Breece Hall headline this epic rookie class that really felt like the turning of the guard for the Jets. And then Aaron Rodgers was coming in. We knew what was following. Veteran players, Dalvin Cook signing with the Jets getting some offensive line help. It felt like things were going great, and none of that worked out. None of it. It just went completely sideways so quickly the second Rodgers' Achilles popped. He came back next year, actually put up a solid season. However, the New York Jets continued to sputter and fail, mainly thanks to their owner, Woody Johnson, because of firing Robert Saleh when they were a game out of first place in 3-2, and the Jets finished the season with 5 wins. So clearly that was an error there as well. But now it appears that the new guard of Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey, after reviewing the film, going over the tape, have made their call on Aaron Rodgers' future with the New York Jets. And they said that the Jets, according to Schefter, are expected to move on from Aaron Rodgers. And Jay Glazer broke it down further, saying that Aaron Rodgers flew back to New Jersey last week to meet with the Jets about his future with the team, only to be told that they were moving on from him. If that means he will be a June 1st designation, that allows him to sign with any team in the league on March 12th if he does decide to continue to play football. Given that Rodgers made the effort to fly back to discuss his future, all sides point to him continuing his career. It just will not be with the New York Jets. Obviously, it's a crushing blow. I mean, Aaron Rodgers had a very solid year with the New York Jets. He was one of the better players on the team. He really gave the Jets what they wanted to see. And look, he couldn't win them games. And that's partially on Rodgers for sure. He came back rusty and looking like he was 40, but he got the season together well at the end. I mean, 28 touchdowns to 11 interceptions is great. Nearly 4,000 yards, 6.7 yards per attempt. He was still the best quarterback option the Jets could have had. So if the Jets have decided to move on from him, which is what we're seeing, it means that they're embracing the tank. They're going to tank again. This is what this means. 15 years after continually trying to rebuild, continually getting high draft picks, it has not worked. And Darren Mougey and Aaron Glenn are deciding they're going to build things up their own way. Now, look, it's a new guard. I understand that they want to make these moves how they see fit, and it's fine. I'm not going to hold so much hot water in it, but I'm going to be real. It felt like the obvious option to bring back Aaron Rodgers. You're going to have to pay him regardless. So either they're going to stretch that money out and pay him for multiple years, or they're going to waive him and then just pay a massive chunk this year. It just makes no sense that you're going to pay the guy to not be on your team when it's Aaron Rodgers. Like, it just feels like such an error on the Jets' part already. I mean, you're not going to find a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers in free agency. You're certainly not going to find one in the draft. And I mean current Aaron Rodgers. You're not going to find someone better than that. The Jets, however, have decided to move on, deciding that that's just not the move, that keeping around Rodgers doesn't really matter to this team because they want to lose games anyway. They're going to target the top of the draft. So that's going to be the 2026 draft, most likely. They're going to target those top quarterbacks. Now, there's a few different options. Nico Iamaleava, Arch Manning, potentially Drew Aller. Those are going to be the top tier of guys, specifically Arch and then Nico as well. But it is going to be something that we're going to look at, and we're going to see the New York Jets have just put themselves in a very, very interesting position where now they're still going to have to pay Rodgers, but he's not going to be on the team, meaning the Jets are going to look for another quarterback in free agency. They might keep Tyrod Taylor around to be a tank commander. Maybe they'll start to give Jordan Travis some burn to see if he's one of the few ever fifth-round quarterbacks to work out. Maybe they'll sign Justin Fields in free agency, or Jameis Winston in free agency, something like that. Maybe they'll do something along those lines. They do have options. The problem is none of those options are good options. They don't have a good option here. The best option was Aaron Rodgers and keeping Davante and trying to win football games because the Jets have not been winning football games. But Darren Mougey, who's an excellent drafter, wants a chance at a top quarterback. He wants to do his due diligence, and that's respectable. I don't agree with the move, but I'm not going to be up in arms about it by any means. I understand that this is just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, and this is where we're at right now with the New York Jets. And look, it's just not ideal, but at the end of the day, we're still going to wake up tomorrow and be Jets fans. So you look at this and you see the vision for sure. They watched the film, they watched the tape, and they decided that they don't want Aaron Rodgers on this team. They don't want to try to win this season. They want to try to tank. They want to do their rebuild. And they just have a lot of good young pieces that you're able to do this little 1-year tank and hopefully be able to be better. It's just a matter of getting a quarterback. The rest of the team is shaping out pretty well with a bunch of young guys. Offensive line has 3 younger guys who are doing great. The defense has great guys. I mean, Jamie and Sherwood won MVP. He's getting better and better each year. We've seen Sauce Gardner, obviously, Garrett Wilson, if he decides to stick around. 2 young running backs in Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. There's a lot of talent on this New York Jets football team. It's just a matter of having a quarterback, it really feels like, and having competent coaching. The Jets have competent coaching in Aaron Glenn, but now they don't have a quarterback because they got rid of Aaron Rodgers, but they want a long-term option. They don't want to lose out on Rodgers after doing well and having like the 20th draft pick and then having to sign someone in free agency just to go back to sucking 1 year later. That's the vision here. Guaranteed, they decided, hey, we want a top quarterback so we could have someone locked up. So we don't have to have one good year, Rodgers retires, and then we basically have to go out and find someone in free agency who's not going to be very good. We're probably going to lose games and be some mid-team that wins 7 games or whatever, and that's really not going to do much good for us at all. That is most likely the situation that we're looking at as Jets fans right now. And it does make some sense. It's just an upsetting thing to happen. I mean, Davante Adams likely going to go with Aaron Rodgers. He did not have really Davante Adams level season this year. He had a weird year. He didn't want to play for the Raiders at all. He wanted to go to the Jets. The Jets thing did not work at all. It felt like Rodgers and Adams couldn't get on the same page for a little bit. But now maybe Adams sticks around. It's hard to imagine why he would stick around with the New York Jets. But taking a look into it, because it was broken down by Ian Rappaport, with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers headed for a divorce, don't be surprised if they moved on from Davante Adams with his huge cap number as well. And Rodgers and Adams will likely reunite elsewhere. You have to imagine Rodgers and Adams are just going to continue being a package deal for each other. And I do hope they succeed. I really do. I have no problem with either man. I think they did everything they could to try to help the New York Jets win, and it just did not work out, and it sucks. It sucks that every single time we try to do something good that works with other teams, it doesn't work for us. But there's still a lot of football to happen. There's an entire offseason worth of moves the Jets have to make, and now that the first domino has fallen, you now know the direction that this team's going to go in the offseason. It's going to be rebuild moves. They're not going to be signing some win now type guys. They're not going to do that. Definitely, we are going to see some people leave the Jets, like DJ Reed, who's confirmed to be leaving. We're going to see some younger guys step in, and the Jets try to figure that out for a year while they look to hopefully land the first pick and get Arch Manning. That's really where we're at right now, and hopefully it works out because that would fix the Jets pretty much instantly. But guys, let me know what you think down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day, and go Jets.